Hi everybody, this is Jo, and today I've been prompted to create a new YouTube channel. It's something that I didn't really want to do before, but I've been really pushed to do it by Spirit, so here it is. And I was pushed by Spirit to do this today due to the energy that I have been picking up recently. Now, if you're in my Energetic Shift group already on Facebook, you'll know a little bit about what I mean, about the pressure that people are under to make shifts and make moves right now. So I'm going to channel information about that, the things that I've been picking up on all of this morning. And so you might have seen or heard some of this before if you're on that group, but I am just being guided by Spirit what I need to say and what I need to do. I've got some crystals here, I've got some cards here that I'll be using as well. I'm just going to go with what comes out. So, if you're here, the chances are you are feeling the pressure or have been feeling the pressure of the energy changes that have been going on planet Earth. And what's happening is the planet as a collective energy is ascending. Its vibration is getting higher. And certain sections of the population are ascending at different times, because it would be absolute chaos if we all did it at the same time. So it's happening in stages. There's an initial stage which I have kind of given the name of Mavericks, which are about 5% of the population. They're star beings, twin flames, select light workers who wanted to pave the way and actually do some of the real hard work, like carving out a path for other people to follow. Now they chose as souls to do this for a specific reason. They've got, the gifts to be able to do it. They've got all the experience that they needed to do it, and that's why they were in that 5%, that maverick section of the population shifting into 5D. So I would class myself as one of those. And what we do, as well as carve the way, we're trying to guide other people, to show other people, what's happening. You're not crazy. It's all for a reason, and your soul has chosen this. And so I know that I have contracted to help people in the first wave of ascension. So I see it as 3 waves. There's the Mavericks, then there's 3 waves. So the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave. And the first wave is where I'm focusing at the moment, focusing on communicating with those people and guiding them and, telling them what they're experiencing is okay, and trying to help them through that. So the first wave is around 30% of the population. Also star beings, twin flames, light workers who have come here specifically to help shift this planet into a higher vibration. And when I say a higher vibration, I didn't really want to go into this, but they're making me, so I'm going to explain it right from the very beginning. I suppose it makes sense with it being a new channel that people might find me and what I'm saying, so they need a little bit of background. So planet Earth is very dense. It's what we would call the 3D, the third dimension, so it's nothing to do with like those shapes, 3D shapes. It's to do with the low density vibration. It's to do with the way that it operates, the matrix. So there's lots of different ways that people can talk about this. So you might understand it in a slightly different way with different terminology, but this is the way that I talk about it. So that third dimensional consciousness and paradigm is very limiting. It's very fear-based, and it's very controlling. So it's kind of, once you're in it, you can't see it, but it controls you, and it controls you with fear. And so as a group of star beings, we have come down to Earth to help shift this planet from the 3rd dimension into the 5th dimension. Now the 5th dimension is a vibration and consciousness. So it's nothing to do with the physical makeup of this planet changing, from my understanding. At least not yet. This will be well beyond our current kind of lifetime. So 5th dimension is a consciousness. Everything that we create at the moment, if you're in 3D, is projected through fear. So you create experiences based on fear when you're in the 3D frequency. With the 5D, you're being freed from that, and you're able to manifest and create and project your reality based upon the freedom of your soul. I hope this is making sense. I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job of explaining it. So the 5D is a consciousness where you are freed from the pain and the fear and the control of the 3D, and you operate from a soul level where you have true freedom, not the kind of freedom which is the illusion that you get when you're in the 3D. So 5th dimensional consciousness is about creating your reality based upon what your soul truly wants, and your soul only ever wants good stuff for you. Is there anything else that I need to say about that? I hope that's explained it well enough. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that, then I will post the link for the Energetic Shift group on Facebook in the comments underneath this video, and you're more than welcome to join. It's a free group and it's closed, so that it's like a nice sacred space, and you can read about the stuff that I've put there. So that group has been going about a year now, so scroll back through, find the different posts, and that hopefully you'll find what you need. I totally believe that you'll find what you need. Even though the 3D is quite limiting, your soul is always in charge. It's just that you're not fully aware of it, and so as you shift into 5D, you become more and more aware of your own power. 3D doesn't want you to know your own power. So 5D is all about reclaiming that back. So as we shift from 3D to 5D, it brings up a lot of pain, it brings up a lot of fear, it brings up a lot of negative thoughts. And that's the stuff that we are creating our physical reality based on. Whether we kind of like it or not, it's like a filter. The way that I see it is like a filter. So your soul is on one side, you've got this filter of scars, which is a 3D, and you're trying to create, but this layer of scars is like blocking your view and blocking your manifestation properly. So we have to clear all of that 3D scars from our soul so that we can get a clear view, and so we can create exactly what it is that we want to create. And that's where the freedom comes from, because you're not accidentally manifesting the wrong thing. Some of you may have experienced that, where you try to manifest something and it's kind of gone a bit tits up. And that's why, because you've got this distortion. It's like a bathroom window that's been frosted out. You can't see clearly through it, and so you react to things in a way that doesn't necessarily make sense, and not the way that you would want to either. So the 3D can be a little bit self-destructive in that respect. So as we are shifting from 3D to 5D, we need to purge and release and clear this stuff. And that's where people struggle. That's where people are struggling right now, because they are being pushed, and your soul is pushing you, and the energies are supporting you to really release all of this stuff. And yeah, it's 3D stuff, so it's painful, it's scary, it's not nice. It can manifest in your physical reality as situations that you really don't want to be happening. It's like, where has this come from? I thought I'd dealt with that, and you're finding that stuff's coming up again. It can be emotional pain, it can be mental stuff, like mental torture, where you feel that your soul is wanting you to do something, and when you do it, that's when the pain and the fear and the negative thoughts crop up, and your soul is pushing you towards, it can seem like your soul is pushing you towards painful experiences, and you start to like think, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Is my intuition wrong? And your intuition is not wrong. Your intuition is trying to push you through. So push through that 3D barrier. You have to go through it. You can't go around it. There's no cheats. There are things that can help you. So I've done sessions and webinars with the violet flame and things like that that can help you to deal with it. It kind of helps you to get through it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker, but really there are no cheats, and you have to go through this shit to get to the other side. You can handle it, but your 3D programming makes you think and believe that you can't. It makes you believe that it's not possible when your soul knows that it is. And so where we're at now with this first wave, we need to reach a critical mass of this first wave hitting and reaching 5D. And so many are almost there. The information that I get, and I communicate with angels and star beings, my own star family, gods, goddesses, you kind of name it, and I talk to them. And so the information that I've been getting is that within the first wave, within this 30% of the population, I don't know exact numbers, how many it is, I just get percentages. About 50% of that first wave have actually made it through that kind of barrier to get to 5D. And the way that they show me is it's like a bubble that you burst through. So it's like once you've gone through this bubble, you can't go back. That's not to say that you're only going to experience 5D from that point, because I know from my own experience that that's not true, because we're still, as a collective in this planet, we're still surrounded by 3D people and experiences all the time. And it's like a gradual process of shifting over to 5D and leaving 3D behind. So it's bit by bit by bit, but breaking through into the 5D is where the first wave is at now. And there's about 50% of that first wave who have made it through. They've broken through. The other 50% are right there. They are right there. So that, I believe that this video that I'm posting right here, right now on the 10th of September is for you. You are a part of that first wave. If you're watching it, you're part of the first wave, and there's a reason that you're watching it. And if you're watching this video at a future date, you may well be part of the first wave, or you may be part of the second or third wave later. So time is an illusion, so it doesn't matter when you're watching it, you'll receive the message exactly when you need it. So those 50% who are on the brink of making it through to 5D, that brink point where you're just about to burst through can be the scariest point. As I said before, the closer you get, how do I explain this? I was talking before about you have to go through the 3D to get to the 5D, and so you kind of have to push through the dense stuff to get to the 5D, and that's why it gets scary. Just as you're about to push through to the 5D, that's when the worst fears can come up, the deepest ones. And they come up for a reason, so that you can see them, so that you can deal with them, and so you can master them. And so I feel, and I do literally feel this, I feel that there are many people in that first wave. I don't know when this started or if it's been growing or what, but I recently feel really, really connected to the part of the collective that I'm communicating with and trying to guide and help. And so I can feel what they're going through, and I can really feel the pressure building up. The pressure building up because you're being pushed to go through to 5D, but you're also really feeling the pressure of that 3D fear. Now that 3D fear is all an illusion, and it's an illusion that you have created from fear, and we're clearing the fear. So if you keep yourself where you are, stuck behind that bubble, not pushing through, then you will only experience more of that fear pushing through the fear is the only way that you're going to get through it. I feel like I'm being very matter of fact about this, and perhaps even a little bit cold. But I know exactly how it feels because I've been there and I know what it feels like. It's horrible. It's physically, emotionally, mentally painful and torturous. But I feel like I'm being very matter of fact because quite frankly, there's enough of that turbulent energy surrounding you, no doubt. And it's just like I need to be like a really stable focal point. And actually that's what our soul is. It's a very stable focal point. The 3D is that chaotic, loud, screaming energy, whereas the 5D can be very, very quiet. Our soul can be very, very quiet, and it's always talking to us in the background, but the 3D noise drowns it out. So we really, really need to listen and tune in to what our soul is really telling us. So it can be a very confusing time as well, that right at that brink point where you feel like you're being really pushed to do something, and then the fear takes over and your mind goes a bit, well, like the Tasmanian devil, like swirling and swirling around, like what do I do? Am I doing the right thing? And so you kind of get stuck, and I feel this is where people are now as well. They're kind of getting stuck because it's like, is it the right thing? I don't know. It doesn't feel the right thing because it feels like hell. I wanted to swear again there. I'm trying not to swear too much in my first video till you know me a bit better. So this video here is designed to help you to make that break, to push through it. Because you can push through it. I know it's not nice, but it really, really is worth it. A lot of the time when you're on this journey as well, you can go through the crap stuff and you're left feeling like, when is this gonna get better? Why do I still feel so rubbish? I've done all of this work and I'm not seeing any benefits. I must be crazy. Why am I putting myself through this? I'm obviously doing something wrong, and you're not. It takes time. It takes time. So I'm starting to get to a good place now after 2 years of that chaotic, horrible stuff. But actually my journey has been longer than that, but I'm talking about the really intense stuff. And I had a really, really intense stuff of about, really, really intense period of stuff for around a year, which kind of, it's very hard to draw lines. It's kind of been, since February, I'd say that's kind of stopped. So February 2018 to 2019 February was, yeah, really intense stuff for me, and it kind of peters out. And so you start feeling like things are just getting a little bit easier, and then something comes up that you've got to push through again. So you will be tested kind of repeatedly with this, but you can do it. But this point now is really, really crucial. The other vital bit of information that I need to share is that within that first wave, where there are 50% of people who have made it through, of those people who have not made it through yet, some of those, if they don't push through pretty soon, I'm given, and I'm not saying this to kind of make anybody feel guilty or ashamed or anything, but the people who don't push through pretty soon will be kind of pushed back into the second wave, because what it's doing, and this is why I can feel the pressure building, what it's doing is it's dragging the first wave down. So you've got these people in the first wave who are really, really pushing, and actually they're being pulled by the kind of people, the 5% mavericks who went first, being pulled, and you know, they've made it through, but this kind of group at the back are like dragging them, holding them back, like weighting them down. And so what's going to happen is people who don't make it through, the souls that don't make it through, will be let back into the second wave, because we cannot keep hold of that weight. We cannot keep people and souls back. And so what we need is 70% of the first wave to reach a critical mass in 5D, so that we can continue to kind of push forwards. And so those in the second wave will ascend, but it will be, I don't know when, I have not been given time frames, time is an illusion, but they will come through and ascend into 5D at a later point. But obviously the people that go first, the harder it is. So it's really, really hard for the people who have gone first, hard for this first wave, and then the second wave it's a little bit easier, and the third wave is easier again. And I get the impression that those in the third wave probably won't know much about this process. I would also say that they're kind of more human rather than star being type souls. So we need another 20% of this first wave to reach that point in 5D, and this video is to help nudge you along. I totally believe that just the words that I'm saying, just the validation of what you're feeling is healing enough to help people to shift. But also, like I say, I'm going to bring in some of my other little goodies down here to help you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that a couple of people have asked about in the energetic shift group, and it's not really the place for me to kind of share stuff like that in the group. It's not really a teaching kind of a place. It's for sharing information, and people can share their experiences as well and kind of comment to like spur each other on or to share with people that understand. But it's not really a place for me to kind of go into details about this kind of stuff. So I think this is why they're making me set up the videos. So one of the recent questions that I've had has been about grounding, because I'm constantly going on about grounding, cleansing, protecting, and I've had questions, people who are new to this and they don't really know kind of much about it. So what I'm going to talk about is a few of those things now that I've been guided to share and to show you. But before I do that, I really want to make it clear that even if you feel like you're really, really new to this stuff, all this kind of weird spiritual stuff, that doesn't mean that you're not part of the first wave. You may well have been experiencing turmoil in your life and your emotions and your mind and not being aware of any of this spiritual stuff, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you start to find some of the answers and things start to make sense. So regardless of how kind of awake you feel or how weird you feel, that doesn't matter. It's, you know, it's still highly possible and likely that you are part of the first wave. Okay, so a couple of people have been asking about grounding, and grounding is really, really, really important, because as we are ascending and as we are shifting towards 5D, we're subjected to really high vibrational energies, and that can be quite disconcerting in itself, because we can kind of get swept up with this energy. And if you're feeling, there's so much that I could say about grounding. I have courses where I have like loads of information about this kind of stuff, and trying to condense it is quite difficult. But if you're feeling ungrounded and you don't realise it, here are a few symptoms. It can be a lot like feeling drunk and feeling dizzy and forgetting things really easily, being clumsy. So those are just a few of the signs that you can be ungrounded. Also, you might have headaches too, because that high vibrational energy kind of buzzes around in your head, and what you need to do is anchor it down. Grounding is literally, as it says, you need to bring this high energy down. We are here to anchor that 5D high vibrational energy down into this planet. That's why we're here. We're not meant to float off with it. We've come here as a physical body for a reason. So grounding is really, really important to both embed those energies and also, you know, to keep you sane and to keep you safe. It's not very good to be operating machinery and driving when you're ungrounded, just like you wouldn't drive when you're drunk. So I do pretty much everything with crystals. I have loads of crystals. So one of the crystals that I have here, and I've got big ones on purpose so that you can see them on camera. You don't need a crystal this big. Just little ones. In fact, I've got a little one here. It's a different crystal, but just little ones, little tumblestones like that are all you need. So this is a smoky quartz. Brown and black crystals are great for grounding, so you can choose whichever one resonates with you. There are loads of methods of grounding, and again, that's something that I teach on courses, but crystals they're my favourite way of doing it. So you carry a crystal in your pocket, you can hold it in your hand, you can wear it in jewellery. If you're sitting in a chair, you can put one of these by your feet, so that it helps to ground the energy right down to your feet. I've made ankle bracelets with grounding crystals in to keep me grounded. So choose a way that works for you. So grounding crystals, just carry them with you, wear them, keep them in your pocket, keep them about your person, and that will help to ground you. Okay, there are certain things that you need to do to take care of your crystals. Again, I can't go into that there, but if you have a research, in fact, I've got blog posts about this, so I'll post some blog links in the comment section as well. So grounding yourself using crystals is really, really good. Okay, so that's a smoky quartz there, just as an example of a crystal that you can use. One other point I'll make as well is this energy is not going to stop and slow down. It's going to keep climbing higher and higher, and so you might find that one day you're able to ground yourself quite easily, and then as time goes on it's just not enough, and you need to keep really persistently grounding every day. So you can do it with meditation as well as using crystals. Those are my two favourite ways. Okay, so there's that one. So that's grounding. And another crystal that I would recommend, actually, this one's a specific one that I feel like I need to recommend here. This is, again, a big one so that you can see it. Hopefully you can see that it's purple as well. It's got a little bit of calcite on the top there, but I'm talking about this purpley bit. So amethyst, quite a common crystal to get hold of, and again, you don't need a big one, you can just use a little one, but amethyst is really, really good for protecting your energy. So you know what I was saying before about when you're in 5D, just kind of making that breakthrough, and there's still people around there walking around outside who are very 3D, their energy can feel pretty nasty at times, especially when you're feeling quite vulnerable. So I spent a lot of time kind of holed away, out of the way of everybody else whilst I was going through it. Firstly, because nobody really understood what I was going through, and secondly, because I just couldn't bear to be around people. It was just too much. I had enough stuff going on and I couldn't be around people, so I just hold myself away. But amethyst is really good for protecting your energy. So again, wear it on a necklace, keep a piece in your pocket. Some people keep them in their bras, whatever you want to do. The other reason that I recommend amethyst is it's very, very calming. So if you're feeling chaotic, if you're feeling stressed and anxious because maybe you don't know what to do, this is a really good crystal to keep with you. So it's like a really good multi-purpose one. I think that's everything that I need to say about that one. So that's amethyst. I recommend that you would find useful. So black and brown ones for grounding. Use your intuition to help you. Amethyst is one that I would really recommend at this time for those of you who are watching and who don't know about crystals well enough to kind of choose. One other thing, remember what I was saying about your intuition, the voice of your soul being really quite quiet, and the 3D can be quite chaotic and loud and noisy, even quite aggressive actually. 3D energy can be quite aggressive and it tends to drown out the voice of your soul. So that's why a lot of people recommend meditation for helping with things like this. For me, it's not something that I do, so I don't really recommend meditation, but not that mind clearing type anyway. That's not me at all. But if you're needing some clarity and some focus because you're feeling unsure, the crystal that I would recommend for that is clear quartz. And again, this is a big one. It's a lovely one. It's one of my newer crystals. I'm very proud. You don't need one this big. Again, a little tumblestone you can use. And when you're feeling conflicted about, what do I do? Is this the right thing to do? This clear quartz can really bring the clarity that you need. So if you're really feeling unsure, am I supposed to do this? Whether it's like leaving a job or making a big change in your life and it feels overwhelming, ground yourself, protect your energy, use the amethyst to help calm. And once you're feeling a little bit better, use the clear quartz then to hold it in your hand and ask yourself, what is the right thing for me to do? Help me to make this decision. And then listen to not the chaotic noise and all that stuff that's going around your head. Listen to what your heart really wants, because your heart is the seat of your soul. If it helps, you can hold the clear quartz by your heart, but you need to find the answers from within yourself. Your soul has access to the whole universe. 3D doesn't want you to know that, because then you're not controllable and you're out of your power, but you have access to every single answer that you could ever need if you just connect with your soul. So ask yourself, what does my soul want me to do? How does my soul want me to do it? So, it's a very simple technique, but it's very, very powerful. And it doesn't take long. You might get the answer instantly, or it might be that over the next hours or days, your mind starts to kind of crystallize, or your heart, or however it makes sense for you, starts to crystallize exactly, like get some clarity, what exactly that is that I need to do. Is it the right decision? And how do I do it? And so crystals are really good tools for helping you with things like that. So 3 crystals that you can use to help you over the next few days to kind of make sure that you really are breaking through and reaching that point where you're into 5D. As you ascend and you kind of hit this wall, you need to push through it. It can feel more and more painful because you're being pushed to push through. And if you're not pushing through and you're not taking the action that you need to, then you kind of suffer a little bit more until that point perhaps where you get bumped back down. And just as I was talking about that's why I paused a second ago, there is only, you might have seen these memes on Facebook about a 999 portal, September 9th. I have to go with what I get and what I experience, and that's not some of the information that I've been given. And if that resonates with you, go with it, because if it resonates with you, you're seeing it for a reason, you know it for a reason. It doesn't resonate with me, but I do know that we are at a crucial point now, and Saturn is about to turn direct. Saturn turns direct on the 18th of September, so we've kind of got 8 days. And so Saturn has been in this kind of review period, and that's kind of where you've been at. You've been in this review period, reviewing like, is this really me? Is this what I want? Is this 3D? Is this 5D? Where do I want to stay? Where do I want to go? And so that review period is coming to an end with Saturn. And so for me, that's how long you've kind of got to take this action. You've got the next 8 days or so to kind of make or break, really. Again, I'm not saying this to scare anybody. This is just the information that I've been presented with that I needed to share. And it's from my own point of view, my own understanding. So if this doesn't resonate with you, maybe you need to go and find some information, some help from somewhere else. If it makes sense for you, if everything else that I've said makes sense for you, then hopefully you'll be able to trust the other things that I've been saying. Okay, so before I go, this is a little bit longer than I had intended, but this stuff happens the way that it happens for a reason. I'm going to take a card now, or maybe a couple of cards. That's what I've been shuffling here in my hands, just kind of getting a feel for the energy. So I'm going to take a card or a couple of cards to kind of give you some insight, some guidance about how to make the breakthroughs that you need to, giving you a way forward. Yeah, whatever it is that you need to help you to do this, because I know that you can do it. It's very much a mind over matter thing. Our minds can tell us that we can't, that we're doing the wrong thing. And because we're human, we kind of believe it because we've been stuck in that 3D paradigm for such a long time, we don't really know any different. This is a very, very different way of operating, so it can be scary. So the cards that I am using are Doreen Virtue's cards, Crystal Angels. I know there's some controversy perhaps about Doreen Virtue, but I happen to love her kind of angelic work. It's helped me an awful lot. So I am using these cards, and again, if this message resonates for you, brilliant. If it doesn't, then you can leave it. So, some cards to help. I think there's going to be 3 cards actually. Let's see what we need to tell people. Okay, so the first card we have is Tanzanite. It says, ready to love again. Now the whole point of 5D is to get back to that unconditional love. So it's not a romantic thing that it's talking about from my perspective here. So you're ready to love again. You're ready to come back to love, because 3D is all about fear and hate and anger and pain. And the rest of the caption says, you've healed from the past enough to open your heart to new love. So what this is asking you to do is to trust in the work that you've already done. All the changes that you've made, all the stuff that you've purged, that blood, sweat and tears and pain that you have been through. I hope you can see that there. Trust in what you've done and that you're ready. You're at this point now for a breakthrough for a reason. You're ready for it. So don't allow your mind or anybody else in the outer world to tell you that you're not and that you can't do it. Just do it. Don't worry about knowing what's going to come next. Trust what your heart tells you, because you are ready for it. The second card that we have here is turquoise. It's one of my favourites. It says spiritual path. Your true beliefs are becoming clearer to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. So the whole point of this video has been to push you to make that break from the 3D and to push through the barrier and into 5D. And it's saying, it's prompting you to make the necessary life changes. Again, you're ready. This is your spiritual path. Your soul has come here for a reason to do this. You need to believe and have faith in everything you have gone through up to now. There's a reason that you're here watching this video. There's a reason you've been through everything that you've been through. And you've come here in this physical body now as a soul to create this shift. To create it for the planet, but also to create it for yourself. To experience the 5D in the physical, which from my own guidance has not been done before. It's an experiment. You're part of this experiment and project. You chose to come to do this. It might not make logical sense to the outside world, but that doesn't mean it's not the truth. Just because lots of people believe one thing and you believe something totally different does not mean that they are right. And the last one, Moonstone, heightened intuition. Be extra aware of your inner knowingness as it's trustworthy. So there's a lot of confirmation in these cards of all these things that I've been talking about already. Trust your intuition. It knows what it's talking about. It might be quiet. It might be gentle. It might be very matter of fact, like the way that I was speaking to you. It won't give you all of the answers. It won't show you all of the next steps, just the one that is right in front of you. It's very easy to get distracted by things which seem easier to do. So for example, I'm trying to put this into words. Just give me a moment. Be aware where you are being distracted from what you really actually need to do. We can easily kind of trick ourselves. Our 3D mind can trick us into thinking that we're doing our work when we're really not. So, oh my God, there's so many examples that I could go into. They're spinning around in my mind and I can't catch on to one that I really want to like talk about yet. Let me just tune in for a minute. We can avoid what is really, really painful to do. So if we're in a relationship and we know that it's run its course, we know in our heart, and like I said, it's a very, very quiet voice. And actually in the 3D, there might not be any reason to leave. There might not be any reason to go except this really persistent kind of niggle in the background saying, you know, this isn't right for you anymore. And it's really, really common for this kind of stuff to be happening now because you've made so many changes. Your consciousness has shifted so much that it's quite possible the people around you have not shifted at all. And so you've kind of outgrown them. So things just do not feel right anymore. And so you can be distracted by the 3D in terms of thinking to yourself, well, you know, there's nothing really wrong with this relationship anymore. I've been with them for a really long time. It's been good. I've been happy. I'm just not feeling very happy at the moment. And so if I change my job, or if I start a new hobby, or if even things like even if I change my diet or go for a massage, get my hair done, I'll feel better. And that's how our 3D mind tricks us. Or we can manipulate the outer world to make us feel better on the inside, but that never works. Perhaps it works in the short term, but what happens is your soul starts to become quite impatient, and that's when more fear and more pain can come up. So if there's something you're resisting, you know that something's run its course, whether it's a job, a home, a relationship, whatever, and you're holding on to it, you can only expect to feel the pressure increase, and that feeling, that it can be quite subtle to begin with, but it builds and builds, and it can manifest even as depression, where that sense of dissatisfaction just continues to linger, and you can tweak other things as much as you like, but that feeling will not go away until you do what you know you need to do. And that is what your soul is wanting you to do now. You've done the small jobs. You've dealt with a lot of the other stuff that was easy to deal with. Now you're kind of at a crunch point, and it's like make or break, this or nothing. And you have to prioritize what your soul wants, because your soul knows why you've come here. There's a much bigger purpose to you being here than any job or relationship. So please trust that sense of dissatisfaction, that niggle of doubt that is an undercurrent. Don't ignore it. Don't get distracted by things that are happening in the outside. Because trust me, the 3D can sense that you're trying to break free of it, and it doesn't want you to, so it claws you back, finds a way of clawing you back, throwing drama at you, throwing issues at you, but you need to keep as calm as possible, keep as grounded as possible. Ignore the chaos that you can hear going on around you and focus on what your heart wants you to do and do it. So that's a really powerful message that's come through there. It may be triggering for some people, but I have to trust that I've delivered it in exactly the way that needed to be delivered. So I hope that you have got something from this first video, which, as I say, is a bit longer than I had intended. If you would like to join my Facebook group, you can find the link in the comment section below. You can also find links from my website and my other work down below as well. I feel like I need to say, just before I go, you are here for a reason, on this channel, watching this video for a reason. You need to trust that you found it for a reason, and you're very, very needed, as I said, to reach that critical mass. But once you've broken through, there's beautiful stuff waiting for you on the other side. Stuff that your little logical mind cannot comprehend, because your logical mind only knows what it has experienced before in the past. It's like an old dodgy computer. It cannot comprehend the beautiful stuff because it's never experienced it, and you're about to experience it. So please push through and trust, and know that I and all of the other people who are watching, who are in the group, are there right with you. So I send you lots of love. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, please subscribe and share it to anybody that you feel might enjoy it or find it beneficial. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.